Errant Angels by John Donne. Read for LibriVox.org by Julie van Wallichem. Twice or thrice had I loved thee, before I knew thy face or name. So in a voice, so in a shapeless flame, angels affect us oft and worship be. Still when, to where thou wert, I came, some lovely glorious nothing did I see. But since my soul, whose child love is, takes limbs of flesh, and else could nothing do, more subtle than the parent is, love must not be, but take a body too. And therefore, what thou wert, and who, I bid love ask, and now, that it assume thy body, I allow, and fix itself in thy lip, eye, and brow. Whilst if thus to balance love I thought, and so more steadily to have gone, with wares which would sink admiration, I saw I had love's pinnace overfraught. Thy every hair for love to work upon is much, too much. Some fitter must be sought. For nor in nothing, nor in things extreme and scattering bright can love inhere. Then, as an angel face and wings of air, not pure as it, yet pure doth wear, so thy love may be my love's sphere. Just such disparity as is twixt theirs and angels' purity, twixt women's love and men's will ever be. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Angels by Gertrude Hall. Read for LibriVox by Jerry Hendershot, University Park, Maryland. Angels. How shall we tell an angel from another guest? How from the common worldly herd one of the blessed? Hint of suppressed halo, rustle of hidden wings, wafture of heavenly frankincense? Which of these things? The old Sphinx smiles so subtly. I give no golden rule, yet would I warn thee, world, treat well whom thou call'st fool. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Blood and the Moon by William Butler Yeats. Read for LibriVox.org by Caitlin Cooper. Blessed be this place, more blessed still this tower. A bloody, arrogant power rose out of the race, uttering, mastering it, rose like these walls from these storm-beaten cottages. In mockery I have set a powerful emblem up, and sing it rhyme upon rhyme, in mockery of a time half dead at the top. Alexandria's was a beacon tower, and Babylon's, an image of the moving heavens, a logbook of the sun's journey in the moons. And Shelley had his towers, thought's crowned powers he called them once. I declare this tower is my symbol. I declare this winding, gyring, spiring treadmill of a stair is my ancestral stair, that Goldsmith and the Dean, Berkeley and Burke have travelled there. Swift beating on his breast in sibylline frenzy blind, because the heart in his blood-sodden breast had dragged him down into mankind. Goldsmith deliberately sipping at the honey-pot of his mind, and heartier-headed Burke that proved the stated tree, that this unconquerable labyrinth of the birds, century after century, cast but dead leaves to mathematical equality. And gaudy-pointed Berkeley that proved all things a dream, that this pragmatical, preposterous pig of a world, its Pharaoh that so solid seemed, must vanish on the instant if the mind but change its theme. E salva indignatio in the labourer's hire, the strength that gives our blood and state magnanimity of its own desire, everything that is not God consumed with intellectual fire. The purity of the unclouded moon has flung its atroe staff upon the floor. 7 centuries have passed and it is pure. The blood of innocence has left no stain there on the blood-saturated ground. have stood soldier, assassin, executioner, whether for daily pittance or in blind fear, or out of abstract hatred and shed blood, but could not cast a single jet thereon. Odor of blood on the ancestral stair, and we that have shed none must gather there and clamor in drunken frenzy for the moon. Upon the dusty, glittering windows cling, and seem to cling upon the moonlit skies, tortoise-shell butterflies, peacock butterflies, a couple of night moths are on the wing. Is every modern nation like the tower, half dead at the top? No matter what I said, for wisdom is the property of the dead, a something incompatible with life, and power, like everything that has the stain of blood, a property of the living. But no stain can come upon the visage of the moon, when it has looked in glory from a cloud. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Casey at the Bat by Ernest Thayer. Read for LibriVox.org by David Fetterman. The outlook wasn't brilliant for the Mudville Nine that day. The score stood 4-2, with but one inning left to play. And then when Cooney died at first and Barrows did the same, a sickly silence fell upon the patrons of the game. The straggling few got up to go in deep despair. The rest clung to that hope which springs eternal in the human breast. They thought, if only Casey could get but a whack at that, we'd put up even money now, with Casey at the bat. But Flynn preceded Casey, as did also Jimmy Blake. And the former was a no-good, and the latter was a fake. So upon that stricken multitude grim melancholy sat, for there seemed but little chance of Casey's getting to the bat. But Flynn let drive a single, to the wonderment of all, and Blake, the much despised, tore the cover off the ball. And when the dust had lifted, and the men saw what had occurred, there was Jimmy safe at second, and Flynn a huggin' third. Then from 5,000 throats and more there rose a lusty yell. It rumbled through the valley, it rattled in the dell. It knocked upon the mountain and recoiled upon the flat. For Casey, mighty Casey, was advancing to the bat. There was ease in Casey's manner as he stepped into his place. There was pride in Casey's bearing and a smile on Casey's face. And when, responding to the cheers, he lightly doffed his hat, no stranger in the crowd could doubt 'twas Casey at the bat. 10,000 eyes were on him as he rubbed his hands with dirt. 5,000 tongues applauded as he wiped them on his shirt. Then, while the writhing pitcher ground the ball into his hip, defiance gleamed in Casey's eye. A sneer curled Casey's lip. And now the leather-covered sphere came hurtling through the air, and Casey stood a-watching it in a haughty grandeur there. Close by the sturdy batsman the ball unheeded sped. "That ain't my style," said Casey. "Strike one," the umpire said. From the benches black with people there went up a muffled roar, like the beating of the storm waves on a stern and distant shore. "Kill him! Kill the umpire!" shouted someone from the stand. And it's likely they'd have killed him, had not Casey raised his hand. With a smile of Christian charity, great Casey's visage shone. He stilled the rising tumult. He bade the game go on. He signaled to the pitcher, and once more the spheroid flew. But Casey still ignored it, and the umpire said, "Strike two." "Fraud!" cried the maddened thousands, and the echo answered, "Fraud." But one scornful look from Casey, and the multitude was awed. They saw his face grow stern and cold, they saw his muscles strain, and they knew that Casey wouldn't let that ball go by again. The sneer is gone from Casey's lip, His teeth are clenched in hate. He pounds with cruel violence his bat upon the plate. And now the pitcher holds the ball, and now he lets it go. And now the air is shattered by the force of Casey's blow. Oh, somewhere in this favored land, the sun is shining bright. The band is playing somewhere, and somewhere hearts are light. And somewhere men are laughing, and somewhere children shout. But there is no joy in Mudville. Mighty Casey has struck out. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
The Children of the Night by Edwin Arlington Robinson. Recorded for LibriVox.org by Shona Brogdon Sturble. For those that never know the light, the darkness is a sullen thing, and they, the children of the night, seem lost in fortune's winnowing. But some are strong and some are weak, and there's the story. House and home are shut from countless hearts that seek world refuge that will never come. And if there be no other life, and if there be no other chance to weigh their sorrow and their strife than in the scales of circumstance, 'twere better ere the sun go down upon the first day we embark in life's embittered sea to drown than sail forever in the dark. But if there be a soul on earth so blinded with its own misuse of man's revealed incessant worth, or worn with anguish, that it views no light but for a mortal eye, no rest but of a mortal sleep, no God but in a prophet's lie, no faith for honest doubt to keep. If there be nothing, good or bad, but chaos for a soul to trust, God counts it for a soul gone mad, and if God be God, he is just, and if God be God, he is love. And though the dawn be still so dim, it shows us we have played enough with creeds that make a fiend of him. There is one creed, and only one, that glorifies God's excellence. So cherish that his will be done, the common creed of common sense. It is the crimson, not the gray, that charms the twilight of all time. It is the promise of the day that makes the starry sky sublime. It is the faith within the fear that holds us to the life we curse. So let us in ourselves revere the self, which is the universe. Let us, the children of the night, put off the cloak that hides the scar. Let us be children of the light and tell the ages what we are. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
The Children's Hour by Henry Wadsworth Longfellow. Read for LibriVox.org by Jerry Dixon. October 8th, 2008. Between the dark and the daylight, when the night is beginning to lower,
comes a pause in the day's occupations that is known as the children's hour. I hear in the chamber above me the patter of little feet, the sound of a door that is opened, and voices soft and sweet. From my study I see in the lamplight, descending the broad hall stair, grave Alice and laughing Allegra, and Edith with golden hair. A whisper and then a silence, yet I know by their merry eyes they are plotting and planning together to take me by surprise. A sudden rush from the stairway, a sudden raid from the hall, but 3 doors left unguarded, they enter my castle wall. They climb up into my turret, or the arms and back of my chair. If I try to escape, they surround me. They seem to be everywhere. They almost devour me with kisses, their arms about me entwine, till I think of the Bishop of Bingen in his mouse tower on the Rhine. Do you think, old blue-eyed banditti, because you have scaled the wall, such an old mustache as I am is not a match for you all? I have you fast in my fortress, and will not let you depart, but put you down into the dungeon, in the round tower of my heart. And there I will keep you forever, yes, forever and a day, till the walls shall crumble to ruin, and moulder in dust away. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
The Courtship of the Yonghy Beau. Read for LibriVox.org by Andrew Macbeth. On the coast of Coromandel, where the early pumpkins blow, in the middle of the woods lived the Yonghy Beau. 2 old chairs and half a candle, 1 old jug without a handle. These were all his worldly goods in the middle of the woods. These were all the worldly goods of the Yonghy Beau. Of the Yonghy Beau. Once, among the bong trees walking, where the early pumpkins blow, to a little heap of stones came the Yonghy Beau. There he heard a lady talking to some milk-white hens of Dorking. "'Tis the Lady Jingly Jones, on that little heap of stones sits the Lady Jingly Jones," said the Yonghy Beau. Said the Yonghy Beau. "Lady Jingly, Lady Jingly, sitting where the pumpkins blow, will you come and be my wife?" said the Yonghy Beau. "I am tired of living singly on this coast so wild and shingly. I'm a-weary of my life. If you'll come and be my wife, quite serene would be my life," said the Yonghy Beau. Said the Yonghy Beau. "On this coast of Coromandel, shrimps and watercresses grow. Prawns are plentiful and cheap," said the Yonghy Beau. "You shall have my chairs and candle, and my jug without a handle. Gaze upon the rolling deep, fish is plentiful and cheap. As the sea my love is deep," said the Yonghy Beau. Said the Yonghy Beau. Lady Jingly answered sadly, and her tears began to flow. "Your proposal comes too late, Mr. Yonghy Beau. I would be your wife most gladly." Here she twirled her fingers madly. "But in England I've a mate. Yes, you've asked me far too late, for in England I've a mate, Mr. Yonghy Beau, Mr. Yonghy Beau. Mr. Jones, his name is Handel Jones, Esquire and Co. Dorking fowls delights to send, Mr. Yonghy Beau. Keep your chairs and candle, and your jug without a handle. I can merely be your friend. Should my Jones more Dorkings send, I will give you 3, my friend, Mr. Yonghy Beau, Mr. Yonghy Beau. Though you've such a tiny body, and your head so large doth grow, though your hat may blow away, Mr. Yonghy Beau, though you're such a hoddy-doddy, yet I wish that I could modify the words I needs must say. Will you please to go away? That is all I have to say, Mr. Yonghy Beau, Mr. Yonghy Beau. Down the slippery slopes of Myrtle, where the early pumpkins blow, to the calm and silent sea fled the Yonghy Beau. There, beyond the bay of Gurtle, lay a large and lively turtle. "You're the cove," he said, "for me. On your back beyond the sea, Turtle, you shall carry me," said the Yonghy Beau. Said the Yonghy Beau. Through the silent roaring ocean did the turtle swiftly go. Holding fast upon his shell rode the Yonghy Bonghy with a sad, primeval motion towards the sunset isles of Boshen. Still the turtle bore him well, holding fast upon his shell. Lady Jingly Jones, farewell, sang the Yonghy Bonghy sang the Yonghy Bonghy. From the coast of Coromandel did that lady never go. On that heap of stones she mourns for the Yonghy Bonghy Bò. On that coast of Coromandel, in his jug without a handle, still she weeps and daily moans. On that little heap of stones to her Dorking hens she moans, for the Yonghy Bonghy Bò, for the Yonghy Bonghy Bò. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Death Be Not Proud by John Donne. Read for LibriVox.org by Rhonda Fetterman. Death, be not proud, though some have called thee mighty and dreadful, for thou art not so. For those whom thou think'st thou dost overthrow die not, poor Death, nor yet canst thou kill me. From rest and sleep, which but thy pictures be, much pleasure then from thee, much more must flow. And soonest our best men with thee do go, rest of their bones and souls' delivery. Thou art slave to fate, chance, kings, and desperate men, and dost with poison, war, and sickness dwell. And poppy or charms can make us sleep as well. And better than thy stroke, why swell'st thou then? One short sleep past, we wake eternally, and death shall be no more. Death, thou shalt die. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
A Floral Fantasy in an Old English Garden by Walter Crane. Read for LibriVox.org by Betsy Bush. In Marquette, Michigan, October 2008. The Old English Garden, a Floral Fantasy. In an old world garden dreaming, where the flowers had human names, methought in fantastic seeming they disported as squires and dames. Of old in Rosamond's bower, with its peacock hedges of yew, one could never find the flower unless one was given the clue. So take the key of the wicket, who would follow my fancy free, by formal knot and clipped thicket, and smooth greensward so fair to see. And while time his scythe is whetting, ere the dew from the grass has gone, the four seasons' flight forgetting, as they dance round the dial stone. With a leaf from an old English book, a jonquil will serve for a pen. Let us note from the green arbor's nook flowers masking like women and men. First, in Venus's looking-glass, you may see where love lies bleeding, while pretty maids all of them pass, with careless hearts quite unheeding. Next, a knight with his flaming targe, see the dandelion so bold, with his feathery crest at large, on a field of the cloth of gold. Simple honesty shows in vain a fashion few seek to robe in, while the poor shepherd's purse is ta'en by rascally ragged robin. Coltsfoot and larkspur speed well in the race of the flowers that's run due, as the hart's tongue pants at the well, and the hound's tongue laps the sun-dew. Here's Venus's comb for maiden hair, while kingcups drink belladonna, glad in purple and gold so fair, though the deadly nightshades upon her. Behold London Pride, robed and crowned, ushered in by the golden rod, while a floral crowd press around just to win from her crest a nod. The foxgloves are already on, not only in pairs but dozens. They've come out to see all the fun with sisters and aunts and cousins. The stitchwork looked up with a sigh at bachelor's buttons unsewn. Single daisies were not in her eye, for the grass was just newly mown. The horsetail scaped from wolf's claw rides off with a lady's lages. The friar's cowl hides a doctor of law, and the bishop's weed covers his graces. The snapdragon opened his jaw, but at sight of Scotch thistle turned pale. He'd too many points of the law for a dragon without a scale. Little Jenny Creeper lay low, till happy thoughts made her gladder. How to rise in the world she'd know, so she climbed up Jacob's ladder. Sweet William with Marigold seek heartsease in the close box border, where starched in their ruff's stiff fold Dutch dahlias prim keep order. Narcissus bends over the brook, intent upon daffodowndilly, while Eyebright observes from her nook, and wonders he could be so silly. A lance for a lad 'gainst King's spear, while the bugle sounds for the play. A lady's mantle flaunting there is the banner that leads the fray. Knight's spur to the lady's bower to seek for the lady's slipper. 'Twas lost in the wood in a summer shower, when the clownswort tried to trip her. Toadflax is spun for butter and eggs. On a lady's cushion sits Thrift. She never wastes, or steals, or begs, but she can't give poor Ragwort a lift. Queen of the meads is Meadowsweet, in the realm of grasses wide, but not in all her court you meet the turbaned Turk's head in his pride. Fair Bethlehem Star shineth bright in a lowly place as of old, and through the green gloom glows the light of St. John's wort, a nimbus of gold. But the hours of the sun swift glide, and the flowers with them are speeding, though love in a mist may hide, when time's in the garden weeding. There's traveller's joy to entwine at our journey's end for greeting. We can talk over sops and wine, and drink to our next merry meeting. End of A Floral Fantasy in an Old English Garden by Walter Crane. This recording is in the public domain.
A 1760 English translation by Francis Fawkes of a fragment of Sappho, read for LibriVox.org by Michael Dowling. The Pleiads now no more are seen, nor shines the silver moon serene. In dark and dismal clouds all cast, the love-appointed hour is past. Midnight usurps her sable throne, and yet, alas, I lie alone. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Gathering Leaves by Robert Frost. Read for LibriVox.org by Anne Cheng. Spades take up leaves no better than spoons, and bags full of leaves are light as balloons. I make a great noise of rustling all day, like rabbit and deer running away. But the mountains I raise elude my embrace, flowing over my arms and into my face. I may load and unload again and again, till I fill the whole shed, and what have I then? Next to nothing for weight, and since they grew duller from contact with earth, next to nothing for colour. Next to nothing for use. But a crop is a crop, and who's to say where the harvest shall stop? End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
An English translation by William Corey of Callimachus' poem Heraclitus, read for LibriVox.org by Michael Dowling. They told me, Heraclitus, they told me you were dead. They brought me bitter news to hear, and bitter tears to shed. I wept as I remembered how often you and I had tired the sun with talking, and sent him down the sky. And now that thou art lying, my dear old carrion guest, a handful of grey ashes, long, long ago at rest, still are thy pleasant voices, thy nightingales awake, for death he taketh all away, but them he cannot take. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Mag by Carl Sandburg. Read for LibriVox.org by Jerry Hendershot, University Park, Maryland. Mag. I wish to God I never saw you, Mag. I wish you never quit your job and came along with me. I wish we never bought a license and a white dress for you to get married in the day we ran off to a minister, and told him we would love each other and take care of each other, always and always, long as the sun and rain lasts anywhere. Yes, I'm wishing now you lived somewhere away from here, and I was a bum on the bumpers 1,000 miles away, dead broke. I wish the kids had never come, and rent and coal and clothes to pay for, and a grocery man calling for cash, every day cash for beans and prunes. I wish to God I never saw you, Mag. I wish to God the kids had never come. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Mending Wall by Robert Frost, read for LibriVox.org by Teresa Montgomery. Something there is that doesn't love a wall, that sends the frozen ground swell under it, and spills the upper boulders in the sun, and makes gaps even two can pass abreast. The work of hunters is another thing. I have come after them and made repair, where they have left not one stone on a stone, but they would have the rabbit out of hiding, to please the yelping dogs, the gaps I mean. No one has seen them made or heard them made, but at spring mending time we find them there. I let my neighbor know beyond the hill, and on a day we meet to walk the line, and set the wall between us once again. We keep the wall between us as we go. To each the boulders that have fallen to each, and some are loaves and some so nearly balls we have to use a spell to make them balance. Stay where you are until our backs are turned. We wear our fingers rough with handling them. Oh, just another kind of outdoor game, one on a side. It comes to little more. There where it is we do not need the wall. He is all pine and I am apple orchard. My apple trees will never get across and eat the cones under his pines, I tell him. He only says, good fences make good neighbors. Spring is the mischief in me, and I wonder if I could put a notion in his head. Why do they make good neighbors? Isn't it where there are cows? But here there are no cows. Before I built a wall I'd ask to know what I was walling in or walling out, and to whom I was like to give offence. Something there is that doesn't love a wall, that wants it down. I could say elves to him, but it's not elves exactly, and I'd rather he said it for himself. I see him there, bringing a stone grasped firmly by the top, in each hand like an old stone savage-armed. He moves in darkness, as it seems to me, not of woods only, in the shade of trees. He will not go behind his father's saying, and he likes having thought of it so well. He says again, good fences make good neighbors. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Nature's Cook by Margaret Cavendish, Duchess of Newcastle. Read for LibriVox.org by Joseph Finkberg. Death is the cook of nature, and we find meat dressed several ways to please her mind. Some meats she roasts with fevers burning hot, and some she boils with dropsies in a pot. Some for jelly consuming by degrees, and some with ulcers gravy out to squeeze. Some flesh as sage she stuffs with gouts and pains, others for tender meat hangs up in chains. Some in the sea she pickles up to keep, others as brawn is soused, those in wine steep. Some with the pox chops flesh and bones so small, of which she makes a French fricassee withal. Some on gridirons of calenches is broiled, and some is trodden on, and so quite spoiled. But those are baked, when smothered they do die. By hectic fevers some meats she doth fry. In sweat sometimes she stews with savoury smell, a hodgepodge of diseases tasteth well. Brains dressed with apoplexy to nature's wish, or swims with sauce of megrims in a dish. And tongues she dries with smoke from stomach's ills, which as the second course she sends up still. Then death cuts throats for blood puddings to make, and puts them in the guts, which colics rake. Some hunted are by death for deer that's red, or stall-fed oxen knocked on the head. Some for the bacon by death are singed or scald, then powdered up with phlegm and rheum, that's salt. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Night's Nothings Again by Carl Sandburg. Read for LibriVox.org by Ray, October 2008. Who knows what I know, when I have asked the night questions, and the night has answered nothing, only the old answers. Who picked a crimson cryptogram, the taillight of a motor car turning a corner, or the midnight sign of a chili con carne place? Or a man out of the ashes of false dawn muttering hot dog to the night watchman? Is there a spieler who has spoken the word or taken the number of night's nothings? Am I the spieler, or you? Is there a tired head the night has not fed and rested, and kept on its neck and shoulders? Is there a wish of man to woman, and woman to man the night has not written and signed its name under? Does the night forget as a woman forgets, and remember as a woman remembers? Who gave the night this head of hair, this gypsy head, calling, come on? Who gave the night anything at all, and asked the night questions, and was laughed at? Who asked the night for a long, soft kiss, and lost the halfway lips? Who picked a red lamp in a mist? Who saw the night fold its Mona Lisa hands and sit half smiling, half sad? Nothing at all, and everything, all the world. Who saw the night let down its hair and shake its bare shoulders and blow out the candles of the moon, whispering, snickering, cutting off to snicker, sobbing after pillow-wet kisses and tears? Is the night woven of anything else than the secret wishes of women, the stretched empty arms of women, the hair of women with stars and roses? I asked the night these questions. I heard the night ask me these questions. I saw the night put these whispered nothings across the city dust and stones, across a single yellow sunflower, one stalk strong as a woman's wrist. And the play of a light rain, jig-time folly of a light rain, the creepers of a drizzle on the sidewalks for the policemen and the railroad men, for the home-goers and the homeless, silver fans and funnels on the asphalt, the many feet of a fog mist that crept away. I saw the night put these nothings across, and the night wind came saying, come on. And the curve of sky swept off white clouds and swept on white stars over Battery to Bronx, scooped a sea of stars over Albany, Dobbs Ferry, Cape Horn, Constantinople. I saw the night's mouth and lips strange as a face next to mine on a pillow. And now I know, as I knew always, the night is a lover of mine. I know the night is everything. I know the night is all the world. I have seen gold lamps in the lagoon play sleep and murmur, with never an eyelash, never a glint of an eyelid, quivering in the water shadows. A taxi whizzes by, an owl car clutters, passengers yawn reading street signs, a bum on a park bench shifts, another bum keeps his majesty of stone stillness. The 40-foot split rocks of Central Park sleep the sleep of stone whalebacks. The cornices of the metropolitan art mutter their own nothings to the men with rolled-up collars on the top of a bus. Breaths of the sea-salt Atlantic, breaths of two rivers, and a heave of hawsers and smokestacks. The swish of multiplied sloops and war dogs, the hesitant hoo-hoo of coalboats. Among these I listen to night calling. I give you what money can never buy. All other lovers change. All others go away and come back and go away again. I am the one you slept with last night. I am the one you sleep with tonight and tomorrow night. I am the one whose passion kisses keep your head wondering and your lips aching to sing one song never sung before. At night's gypsy head calling, come on. These hands that slid to my neck and held me, these fingers that told a story, this gypsy head of the hair calling, come on. Can anyone else come along now and put across night's nothings again? I have wanted kisses my heart stuttered at asking. I have pounded at useless doors and called my people fools. I have staggered alone in a winter dark, making mumble songs to the sting of a blizzard that clutched and swore. It was the night in my blood, open, dreaming night, night of tireless sheet steel blue. The hands of God washing something, feet of God walking somewhere. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
No Thank You, John, by Christina Rossetti. Read for LibriVox.org by Rosanna Taranta. I never said I loved you, John. Why will you tease me day by day, and wax awareness to think upon with always do and pray? You know I never loved you, John. No fault of mine made me your toast. Why will you haunt me with a face as wan as shows an hour-old ghost? I dare say Meg or Moll would take pity upon you if you'd ask, and pray don't remain single for my sake, who can't perform that task. I have no heart? Perhaps I have not, but then you're mad to take offense that I don't give you what I have not got. Use your own common sense. Let bygones be bygones. Don't call me false, who owed not to be true. I'd rather answer no to 50 Johns than answer yes to you. Let's mar our pleasant days no more, songbirds of passage, days of youth. Catch it today, forget the days before. I'll wink at your untruth. Let us strike hands as hearty friends, no more, no less. And friendship's good, only don't keep in view ulterior ends and points not understood. In open treaty, rise above quibbles and shuffling off and on. Here's to friendship for you if you like, but love, no thank you, John. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Oil and Blood by William Butler Yeats. Read for LibriVox.org by Caitlin Cooper. In tombs of gold and lapis lazuli, bodies of holy men and women exude miraculous oil, odor of violet. But under heavy loads of trampled clay lie bodies of the vampires full of blood. Their shrouds are bloody and their lips are wet. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
On leaving some friends at an early hour by John Keats. Read for LibriVox.org by Sergio Baldelli in Rome, October 2008. Give me a golden pen and let me lean on heaped up flowers in regions clear and far. Bring me a tablet whiter than a star, or a hand of a hymning angel, when 'tis seen the silver strings of a heavenly harp atween. And let there glide by many a pearly car pink robes and wavy hair and a diamond jar, and a half-discovered wings and glances keen. The while let music wander round my ears, and as it reaches each delicious ending, let me write down a line of a glorious tone, and full of many wonders of the spheres. For what a height my spirit is contending! 'Tis not content so soon to be alone. End of a poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Ozymandias by Percy Bysshe Shelley. Read for LibriVox.org by David Fetterman. I met a traveller from an antique land who said, "Two vast and trunkless legs of stone stand in the desert. Near them, on the sand, half sunk, a shattered visage lies, whose frown and wrinkled lip and sneer of cold command tell that its sculptor well those passions read, which yet survive stamped on these lifeless things. The hand that mocked them, and the heart that fed, and on the pedestal these words appear: My name is Ozymandias, King of kings, look on my works, ye mighty, and despair. Nothing beside remains, round the decay of that colossal wreck, boundless and bare. The lone and level sands stretch far away. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Sick a Wife as Willie Had by Robert Burns. Read for LibriVox.org by Joseph Finkberg. Willie Wassel dwelt on Tweed, the spot they called it Lincoln Doddy. Willie was a wapster good, could stone a clue wi' on a body. He had a wife was dour and din, o' Tinkler Margie was her mither. Sick a wife as Willie had, I wouldna give a button for her. She has an A, she has but ane. The cat has twa, the very colour. 5 rusty teeth for by a stump. A clapper tongue would dive a miller. A whisking beard about her moo, her nose and chindi threaten either. Sick a wife as Willie had, I wouldna give a button for her. She's a bowhoot, she's a henshind, a limping like a handbreed shotter. She's twisted right, she's twisted left, to balance fair in ilka quarter. She has a lump upon her breast, the twin of that upon her shoulder. Sick a wife as Willie had, I wouldna give a button for her. Old Bodrum's by the ingle sits, and we're aloof for facial washing. But Willie's wife is nae trig, she dichts a gruncy wi' a cushion. Her wally knees like midden creels, her face would fail the loggin' water. Sick a wife as Willie had, I wouldna give a button for her. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Sonnets from the Portuguese. Sonnet 43 by Elizabeth Barrett Browning. Read for LibriVox.org by Stuart Nairn. How do I love thee? Let me count the ways. I love thee to the depth and breadth and height my soul can reach, when feeling out of sight for the ends of being and ideal grace. I love thee to the levels of every day's most quiet need, by sun and candlelight. I love thee freely,
as men strive for right. I love thee purely as they turn from praise. I love thee with the passion put to use in my old griefs and with my childhood's faith. I love thee with a love I seemed to lose with my lost saints. I love thee with the breath, smiles, tears of all my life. And, if God choose, I shall love thee better after death. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Stanzas Written in Dejection Near Naples by Percy Bysshe Shelley. Read for LibriVox.org by Rick Rodstrom. The sun is warm, the sky is clear. The waves are dancing fast and bright, blue isles and snowy mountains where the purple noon's transparent might. The breath of the moist earth is light around its unexpanded buds. Like many a voice of one delight, the winds, the birds, the ocean floods, the city's voice itself is soft, like solitude's. I see the deep's untrampled floor with green and purple seaweed strown. I see the waves upon the shore like light dissolved in star showers thrown. I sit upon the sands alone. The lightning of the noontide ocean is flashing round me, and a tone arises from its measured motion. How sweet did any heart now share in my emotion! Alas, I have nor hope, nor health, nor peace within, nor calm around, nor that content surpassing wealth the sage in meditation found, and walked with inward glory crowned. Nor fame, nor power, nor love, nor leisure. Others I see whom these surround. Smiling they live, and call life pleasure. To me, that cup has been dealt in another measure. Yet now despair itself is mild, even as the winds and waters are. I could lie down like a tired child, and weep away the life of care which I have borne and yet must bear, till death like sleep might steal on me, and I might feel in the warm air my cheek grow cold, and hear the sea breathe o'er my dying brain its last monotony. Some might lament that I were cold, as I, when this sweet day is gone, which my lost heart, too soon grown old, insults with this untimely moan. They might lament, for I am one whom men love not, and yet regret, unlike this day, which, when the sun shall on its stainless glory set, will linger, though enjoyed, like joy in memory yet. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
The Stolen Child by William Butler Yeats. Read for LibriVox.org by Rhonda Fetterman. Where dips the rocky highland of Sleuth Wood in the lake, there lies a leafy island where flapping herons wake. The drowsy water rats, there we've hid our fairy vats, full of berries and of reddest stolen cherries. Come away, O human child, to the waters and the wild, with a fairy hand in hand, for the world's more full of weeping than you can understand. Where the wave of moonlight glosses the dim grey sands with light, far off by furthest Rosses, we foot it all the night, weaving olden dances, mingling hands and mingling glances, till the moon has taken flight. To and fro we leap, and chase the frothy bubbles, while the world is full of troubles, and anxious in its sleep. Come away, O human child, to the waters and the wild, with a fairy hand in hand, for the world's more full of weeping than you can understand. Where the wandering water gushes from the hills above Glen Car, in pools among the rushes that scare could bathe a star, we seek for slumbering trout, and whispering in their ears, give them unquiet dreams, leaning softly out from ferns that drop their tears over the young streams. Come away, O human child, to the waters and the wild, with a fairy hand in hand, for the world's more full of weeping than you can understand. Away with us he's going, the solemn-eyed. He'll hear no more the lowing of the calves on the warm hillside, or the kettle on the hob sing peace into his breast, or see the brown mice bob round and round the oatmeal chest. For he comes, the human child, to the waters and the wild, with a fairy hand in hand, for the world's more full of weeping than he can understand. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
The Ship of Death by D.H. Lawrence. Read for LibriVox.org by Ernst Patinama, Amsterdam, the Netherlands. 1. Now it is autumn, and the falling fruit and the long journey towards oblivion. The apples falling like great drops of dew to bruise themselves an exit from themselves. And it is time to go, to bid farewell to one's own self, and find an exit from the fallen self. 2. Have you built your ship of death? Oh, have you? Oh, build your ship of death, for you will need it. The grim frost is at hand, when the apples will fall thick, almost thunderous, on the hardened earth. And death is on the air like a smell of ashes. Ah, can't you smell it? And in the bruised body, the frightened soul finds itself shrinking, wincing from the cold that blows upon it through the orifices. 3. And can a man his own quietus make with a bare bodkin? With daggers, bodkins, bullets, man can make a bruise or break of exit for his life. But is that a quietus? Oh, tell me, is it quietus? Surely not so, for how could murder, even self-murder, ever a quietus make? 4. Oh, let us talk of quiet that we know, that we can know, the deep and lovely quiet of a strong heart at peace. How can we this our own quietus make? 5. Build then the ship of death, for you must take the longest journey to oblivion, and die the death, the long and painful death that lies between the old self and the new. Already our bodies are fallen, bruised, badly bruised. Already our souls are oozing through the exit of the cruel bruise. Already the dark and endless ocean of the end is washing in through the breaches of our wounds. Already the flood is upon us. Oh, build your ship of death, your little ark, and furnish it with food, with little cakes and wine for the dark flight down oblivion. 6. Piecemeal the body dies, and the timid soul has her footing washed away as the dark flood rises. We are dying, we are dying, we are all of us dying, and nothing will stay the death flood rising within us, and soon it will rise on the world, on the outside world. We are dying, We are dying, piecemeal our bodies are dying, and our strength leaves us, and our soul cowers naked in the dark rain over the flood, cowering in the last branches of the tree of our life. 7. We are dying, so all we can do is now to be willing to die, and to build the ship of death to carry the soul on the longest journey. A little ship with oars and food and little dishes, and all accoutrements fitting and ready for the departing soul. Now launch the small ship. Now, as the body dies and life departs, launch it, the fragile soul in the fragile ship of courage, the ark of faith, with its store of food and little cooking pans and change of clothes, upon the flood's black waste, upon the waters of the end, upon the sea of death, where still we sail darkly, for we cannot steer and have no port. There is no port, there is nowhere to go, only the deepening black, darkening still blacker upon the soundless, ungurgling flood, darkness at one with darkness, up and down and sideways utterly dark, so there is no direction any more, and the little ship is there, yet she is gone. She is not seen, for there is nothing to see her by. She is gone, gone, and yet somewhere she is there, nowhere. 8. And everything is gone, the body is gone, completely under, gone, entirely gone. The upper darkness is heavy on the lower. Between them the little ship is gone. She is gone. It is the end. It is oblivion. 9. And yet out of eternity a thread separates itself on the blackness, a horizontal thread that fumes a little with pallor upon the dark. Is it illusion, or does the pallor fume a little higher? Ah, wait, wait, for there's the dawn, the cruel dawn of coming back to life out of oblivion. Wait, wait, the little ship drifting beneath the deathly ashy grey of a flood dawn. Wait, wait, even so, a flush of yellow and strangely, oh chilled one soul, a flush of rose. A flush of rose, and the whole thing starts again. 10. The flood subsides, and the body like a worn seashell emerges strange and lovely, and the little ship wings home, faltering and lapsing on the pink flood, and the frail soul steps out into her house again, filling the heart with peace. Swings the heart renewed with peace even of oblivion. O build your ship of death, O build it, for you will need it, for the voyage of oblivion awaits you. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
The World by Edwin Arlington Robinson. Recorded for LibriVox.org by Shona Brogdon Sturble. Some are the brothers of all humankind, and own them, whatsoever their estate. And some, for sorrow and self-scorn, are blind with enmity for man's unguarded fate. For some there is a music all day long, like flutes in paradise. They are so glad. And there is hell's eternal undersong of curses and the cries of men gone mad. Some say the scheme with love stands luminous. Some say 'twere better back to chaos hurled. And so 'tis what we are that makes for us the measure and the meaning of the world. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
To a Goose by Robert Southey, read for LibriVox.org by Ruth Golding. If thou didst feed on western plains of yore, or waddle wide with flat and flabby feet over some Cambrian mountain's plashy moor, or find in farmer's yard a safe retreat from gypsy thieves and foxes sly and fleet, if thy grey quills by lawyer guided trace deeds big with ruin to some wretched race, or love-sick poet's sonnet, sad and sweet, wailing the rigour of some lady fair, or if the drudge of housemaid's daily toil, cobwebs and dust thy pinion white besoil, departed goose, I neither know nor care. But this I know, that thou wert very fine, seasoned with sage and onions and port wine. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
To a Young Lady Who Sent Me a Laurel Crown by John Keats, read for LibriVox.org by Sergio Baldelli, in Rome, October 2008. Fresh morning gusts have blown away all fear from my glad bosom. Now from gloominess I mount forever, not an atom less than the proud laurel shall content my bier. No, by the eternal stars, or why sit here in the sun's eye, and 'gainst my temples press Apollo's very leaves, woven to bless by the white of fingers and thy spirit clear. Lo, who dares say, do this? Who dares call down my will from its high purpose? Who say, stand, or go? This very moment I would frown on abject Caesars. Not the stoutest band of mailed heroes should tear off my crown, yet would I kneel and kiss thy gentle hand. End of a poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Written in Northampton County Asylum by John Clare. Read for LibriVox.org by Carolyn Francis. I am, yet what I am, who cares or knows? My friends forsake me like a memory lost. I am the self-consumer of my woes. They rise and vanish, an oblivious host, shadows of life, whose very soul is lost. And yet I am, I live, though I am tossed into the nothingness of scorn and noise, into the living sea of waking dream, where there is neither sense of life nor joys, but the huge shipwreck of my own esteem and all that's dear. Even those I love the best are strange, nay, they are stranger than the rest. I long for scenes where man has never trod, for scenes where woman never smiled or wept, there to abide with my Creator, God, and sleep as I in childhood sweetly slept, full of high thoughts unborn. So let me lie, the grass below, above, the vaulted sky. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.